Let's talk about walking home for Christmas. What's it all about?
Well, it's about raising money. You don't have to run a marathon. You don't have to climb a mountain. You can walk home with your friends from the pub, or you can take the stroller out and go around the park and come home. Go to www.walkinghomeforchristmas.com. You'll get sent a pack. And it's about saying thank you to our veterans.
Which is particularly poignant at this time.
Oh, yeah, I think, obviously, Christmas is a very hard time for all, well, of course, this time of year, but also Christmas is quite a hard time for a lot of people who feel isolated. If you're in an institution like the armed forces, if you're suddenly out of that, and as you say, 7 people a day are medically discharged from our armed forces, they often find themselves on their own, with not many people who they can go and talk to. So this is about raising money to look after them, for their mental health, their physical well-being. And also, I hope that any veterans out there that are watching this, if they feel that they need to talk to someone, please pick up the phone, speak to Walking with the Wounded, ring up Help for Heroes, ring up anyone and start talking, because that's the first step about getting over mental PTSD, for instance. You've got to start talking about it. So, it's a great opportunity for civilians like myself. As I say, I'm not going to run a marathon and I'm not going to climb a mountain, but I could stagger home from the pub in an orderly fashion. Yes, yeah, whatever it is, whether it's a walk in your favourite woods and then walking home, or going to get a Christmas tree and walking home, get some sponsorship money and help our veterans who, have often put their lives on the line for us. I think it's only fair that we offer some help back.
Yeah, these are people who've served their country, but as you say, 7 discharged every day. That's 2,451 discharged medically last year. You touched on it a little bit, but what support is there? Because it's a very different world outside of the military.
Absolutely, and it's sort of, I made a programme about PTSD about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's a bit of a postcode lottery as to what kind of support you get with mental health anyway, but particularly if you're experiencing PTSD, you're not necessarily going to be able to find someone out there that specialises in the area that you're suffering from. So, that's why this charity for me is this operation is quite important in this campaign, and I'll be definitely taking part. We walked this morning from the Millennium Bridge to the Cenotaph with some people who are ex-service personnel who have been helped. And it was an incredibly positive experience. It was raining, but we had a bit of a laugh. There were civilians like myself, ex-service personnel, and we all got on quite well. And it's, you can be sitting there having your Christmas dinner this year with an extra smile on your face because you've helped someone who was vulnerable, and also someone who possibly risked their lives for your liberty, for your safety.
We seem to be talking about PTSD more and more. Last week we were talking about the veteran who'd gone out on hunger strike. We had a veteran here sitting where you are talking about the support or lack of that is available. When we are expecting these men and women to go out and fight for their country, we are now relying on charities to give them their support. Is that right?
Sadly, yes. The National Health Service can only go so far. And there are, sadly, there are holes there, and the great British public, as always, has never been short in coming forward when it comes to charity. But this particularly, having been out to Afghan a few times and seen the kind of sacrifices that were made, not only by the service personnel, but also by their families, and the money that will be raised through Walking Home for Christmas will also go to help them. As you say, Christmas can be a great time, it can also be an incredibly lonely time. And it's also when families get together and things come to a head. And a lot of people who've got PTSD, Christmas can be a Kickstarter for that.
And it is shocking, really, isn't it, when you think, and when you talk to homeless people, that a proportion of them are ex-servicemen and women. Because,
they leave this institution that is regimented, that is organised, and all of a sudden they find themselves on their own. It was one of the guys I was talking to today, he was involved in a serious motorcycle accident while he was serving, but after he got back from Afghanistan. He left the army, he found himself on his own virtually, and he had 15 pence to his name. But through working with Help for Heroes, he's got himself back together again, and he's a damn sight fitter than I am, and he's a fantastic guy. And also, you've got to bear in mind that a lot of people who've served, they have skills. And so many of them are unemployed. We need to get them back. To get them back into society, to integrate them back in, we have to help them get jobs. So just for £150, you can get someone, get them trained how to write a CV properly so they can, you know, apply for a job.
Yeah, again, you sort of feel, isn't that the role of the military and the MOD to support someone as they make that transition into civilian life? I wonder also whether public awareness is starting to wane now that we're not involved in the big campaigns like Iraq and Afghanistan.
But of course, and I think everybody that went out to Afghan knew that was going to happen. But it's not just going to help people who've been to Afghanistan, it's anyone that's served, wherever they may have served. And of course, you know, it's not headline news anymore. Some people have very short memories. Often politicians have very short memories. It's not fashionable, maybe. But, you know, as you say, 7 people a day leaving the armed forces, most of whom are in need of help. And the only way they're probably going to get that help is from charity. Yeah,
and Prince Harry has been doing a lot of work around this, raising awareness about mental health issues as well as physical health issues for those leaving the army through his work with the Invictus Games. And I wonder how important it is to have high-profile support like your own as well.
I'm not going to compare myself to him. He's way ahead of me on that. But he also called for charities to come together, and that's what's great about this. You know,
so we're seeing
Walking with the Wounded and Help for Heroes working together, collaborating to help people that desperately need it.
OK, so if people want to know what they can do, how they can get involved in the run-up to Christmas, tell us
Between the 13th of this month to the 23rd of November, at any point, go to www.walkinghomeforchristmas. You will get a pack and a wonderful Santa's hat that I was wearing this morning. Got a bit damp, had to squeeze the bobble a couple of times. And get as many of your friends as possible, or family members, or colleagues at work, and do a walk.
Does it have to be of any length in particular, any distance?
It can be 10 yards or 1,000 yards. It's entirely up to you.